This is Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and today we're going to smack down two very different 8-inch glass tablets. Here we have the new Samsung Galaxy Tab Pro 8.4, and here we have the incumbent, the iPad mini with Retina Display. Which is right for you? We're going to find out and look at them now. Alright, isn't this always our favorite? Android versus iOS. This is right up there with Democrats versus Republicans. You guys are going to have fights among yourselves, I'm sure. But nonetheless, it's necessary, isn't it? Here we have the iPad mini with Retina Display, been out a couple of months, $399 for the 16 gig model. Here we have the new guy on the block, the Samsung Galaxy Tab Pro 8.4, also $399 for the 16 gig model, both Wi-Fi only at that price we're talking. Right now there is no LTE version of the Tab Pro available. There probably will be in the future, but there isn't. Obviously with the iPad you can get it with LTE that works with any carrier. The Mini with Retina Display has a 7.9-inch display, so call it 8 inches. Samsung always has to be a little bigger, so they are 8.4 inches. Now, you can see the aspect ratio makes for just a different kind of hand-holding experience. 4:3 aspect ratio always for Apple products, and for this guy we have the usual 16:9 widescreen going on, so it's going to be a little taller going this way. iPad, relatively speaking, is going to look a little bit wider. If you're watching movies, 16:9 makes more sense since most things are widescreen format. Now, if you're reading a lot of books, even websites, then the 4:3 makes sense. You can't have both in the same product. That is just what it is. Both of these have very high resolution displays that are very attractive. As you can see, very nice, very bright, very colorful. They're both really, really nice. 2048 by 1536 pixels. Samsung says, aha, we're going to have to put more pixels in then to fight with Apple. So 2560 by 1600. It's also a half-inch bigger display, so to keep the pixel density up, it's a good idea to increase it further. Suffice to say, on either of these, you're going to say, wow, that is a sharp display. You're not going to see any staircasing on text. You're going to think that magazines look as pin-sharp as possible. They're very readable. Now, where these really start to diverge is in the philosophy of the hardware. Apple keeps it simple. What do you have? You have a lightning connector on the bottom and a headphone jack. That's about it for physical connectors. Little stereo speakers right down there. But they do go for quality, so you get this beautiful thin design and a metal casing, your choice of silver or black. So it's got to be one of the nicest looking tablets you can possibly buy. No argument whether you like it iOS or not. It's pretty wide. I have a pretty big hand, so it's a handful if you want to hold it that way. Probably most people are going to hold it down at a corner. Now Samsung and Android roll differently. More ports, more things to do here. Micro USB port, stereo speakers, IR port, because we have AV remote control here with an IR blaster. That's what that's for, so you can control your TV. Headphone jack up top, and we also have a micro SD card slot for expansion, compatible with SDXC cards up to 64 gigs. So there you have it, a little more expandable, controls your TV. It's going to get more gizmos and some of that kind of more computery experience where you can expand storage right here. In terms of thinness and attractiveness, this is also a very nice looking tablet. It has the faux leather back made of genuine plastic that Samsung favors right now. Updated, more grippy than say on even the Note 3 or the Note 10.1 2014 edition. It's not bad looking. It's available in black or white. 8 megapixel camera with an LED flash on the back versus a 5 megapixel on the iPad mini with Retina Display. Interestingly, because Apple does such a good job with imaging, image quality and video quality are really pretty comparable on these, and they're both really pretty good. Up front, the iPad has a 1.2 megapixel camera versus 2.1 megapixels on the Samsung. I do find the Samsung a little bit sharper. Again, Apple does a really good job with imaging, but it's enough of a difference that you're going to notice. They're both pretty fast and fluid. I mean, everybody thinks of the iPad as being the paragon of speed on a tablet, and it's fine, it's fast. Now, Samsung always gets picked on for their TouchWiz. Now we're updated to the magazine UX, which does have speed improvements. You know what? It's not a laggy product. Yes, the iPad will be a little bit more responsive feeling for everyday tasks, just like launching programs, that sort of thing. It's not enough of a difference that I don't think anybody's really going to care very much. If they just pick up the Samsung for the first time, they're going to say, oh, it's a pretty nice, usable tablet. So how about performance and benchmarks? Now, there are some cross-platform tools. Right here we have Geekbench 3, an example of cross-platform benchmarking tool. Snapdragon 800 quad-core 2.2 gigahertz. In the Samsung, that's the top-of-the-line CPU right now available with Android. For the iPad mini with Retina display, we have Apple's A7 dual-core CPU, also extremely fast. And again, what really counts here is the operating systems have different requirements, different optimizations, so everything isn't about clock speed here. The Retina is clocked at 1.3 gigahertz. So look at the score, though. For the single-core score, 1394 versus 908. Now, it also depends on whether your application is multi-core aware as to how well you'll do in terms of speed improvement with a quad-core versus a dual-core. But obviously, in the case with the Samsung, when there is a quad-core aware that makes use of all four cores, we get a little higher there than the iPad mini with Retina display, 2807 versus 2526. Not a huge divide there, though. So what's the moral of this story? You're looking at equally powerful tablets. 2 gigs of RAM on the Samsung Galaxy Tab Pro 8.4, 1 gig on the iPad mini with Retina display, but operating systems require different amounts of memory. It's not just really an even call there in terms of memory consumption. And yes, 64-bit CPU inside. Does that matter right now? Not so much until we have a whole lot more 64-bit applications. How about SunSpider JavaScript test? As you can see here, the Samsung actually did a little bit better. Lower numbers are better here. 396 versus 445 on the iPad mini with Retina display. Now, both of those are stellar numbers for mobile tablet products right there. But while we've got these up, notice the difference in the color here. The iPad mini with Retina display has more accurate color calibration. So you can see that Samsung, we're using the default where it uses auto adaptive color to make things look as good as possible. It's doing actually a little extra color saturation there. Some of you may like the extra color saturation. You can also just switch it to so-called normal mode, so it's not going to look as vibrant, but there it is, just a noticeable difference in the colors. Now, you power users, this is where you're going to favor Android, a lot of you. I think you know how iOS is. Here it is. It's a wall of icons. That is what it is. We have some improvements here. You can get to your various wireless settings there. You can bring down notifications right there. That's about as extensive as you're getting. There's really no customization other than changing the order of your icons here. Now with Samsung, they have their multi-window software. And so you can see here I can drag, say I want to have Chrome. Drag it down there. And say I want to have the music player. And I can drag that in here. And this is resizable between these two. So multitasking gives you a little bit more of a computer-like feel here. Also with Android in general, you can customize the desktop how you see fit, what icons you want here, what widgets you have here. Plus you have the new magazine UX, which gives you this kind of presentation. Mostly news sources, a couple of things that pull your own local content like your calendar and your email. Samsung Watch on for controlling your home AV gear, that sort of thing. So a different philosophy. This guy wants to be halfway to going to being your substitute for a computer. This is about simplicity, ease of use. As to which is better for you, only you know. Now both of these come with a pretty capable Office suite. In the case of Apple, it's their iWork suite. So we've got Pages up here, the word processor, and you can see good presentation, supports things like tables, and we have the ability to do some formatting up here. Table options, headers, arrange. Moderately good editing stuff right here. Obviously we've got justification right here, our font, bolding, formatting, right, left, justification. Not bad. Handcom Office so far has impressed us as the best thing we've ever seen on mobile. It's just about like using Word on your desktop or Excel or PowerPoint, whatever it is you're doing. So you can see that you have the standard menu up here like you would on a PC, but this is touch aware, so you don't have drop-down menus that are annoying. It switches the ribbons here, so just about everything you can do in Office. A lot of advanced features are there. So I give the edge to Handcom Office. But in either way, you're getting a very capable suite that can view, edit, and create MS Office documents. Lastly, there's the ecosystem discussion, and you know what you've already bought into if you have bought into anything. If you go with the iPad, well, you're going in for iTunes and all the content that's available there in the App Store. The App Store is really rich with tablet apps. People pick on Android for not having as many tablet-optimized apps, but all of the big-name players and a lot of the popular 3D games are tablet-optimized. It's not the end of the world. But sometimes, yes, you're going to run into an app that was meant for a phone and the UI is not going to look as pleasing. So there is that to consider. But still, if you have a lot of iTunes content, whether it's music or TV shows, any of that kind of stuff, if you're already using iCloud, then the iPad mini with Retina display is going to make a lot of sense for you. Now, on the Samsung Galaxy Tab Pro 8.4, besides Samsung's own media hub where they try to sell you stuff, there's the whole Google ecosystem, which a lot of people have also bought into. Google Play Books, Google Play Magazines, Google Play Music, you name it, they're selling it. Of course, the applications too, the movies. Also a very rich ecosystem in terms of multimedia content. Books also they have too. And both of these come with a book reader where you can sideload your own EPUBs. Both of these are compatible with Nook and Kindle, so if you're a fan of either of those, you're just as good to go. So how about battery life? Both of these have lithium-ion polymer batteries that are sealed inside, so that means you ain't going to be replacing them yourself, most likely, especially not the iPad. Boy, is that hard to tear apart. Anyway, Apple, you know, they've been owning battery life lately, whether it's for their MacBook Pros, their MacBook Air, or their tablets. So, yes, the iPad mini with Retina display does have better battery life. I average about 10 hours with this Retina iPad mini here, and with the Samsung Galaxy Tab Pro 8.4 so far, I've been doing about 8 hours. So, you know, I'm not just copping out here and I'm afraid to tell you which one's better, because really it depends on what it is that you want. If you like simplicity, if you like the huge Apple ecosystem of not just software, but of hardware accessories, you want a fast tablet, you want the latest 3D games always available, then the iPad mini with Retina display is going to win. If you're a power user, you want to be able to use the built-in file manager to access any file without having to deal with the whole iTunes brouhaha just to get files onto your device. If you want a micro SD card for storage expansion, there's also USB hosts, so you can use flash drives, keyboards, and mice with this. The multitasking, more of a computery experience. So if you're looking for something that's more of a power user tablet, something that can stand in for your laptop, then it's going to be the Samsung. So that's the Samsung Galaxy Tab Pro 8.4 versus the iPad mini with Retina display. As you can see, they both have great things going for them. With the iPad mini, it's going to be the ecosystem, not just of applications for tablets, which there are a lot of, but also a lot of accessories too. Huge number of accessories available. And for the Samsung, it's going to be the more customizable experience, that multitasking, that kind of more like make it the computer I want it to be feel. I'm Lisa from Mobile Tech Review. Be sure to visit our website for full reviews of both of these, watch our video reviews, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.